I've been making my own yogurt for a while now, and I just wanted to make a quick video. If you haven't made yogurt before, just wanted to show you how you can make your own yogurt at home. I'm gonna make a normal yogurt. You can also make Greek as well if you decide to strain it out, but I'm gonna make plain yogurt. So all you're gonna need to make your own yogurt is gonna be your milk of your choosing. Just make sure it doesn't have any sweeteners. It's just plain whole milk or 2%. The lower fat you go, the more runny the yogurt is gonna turn out. So I always try to go whole milk when I make my yogurt. And then you also want to go to the store and you want to get a plain yogurt. And again, make sure this is plain. We don't want anything in the yogurt that could disrupt the fermentation process. Also, whenever you buy a yogurt, you wanna make sure that the cultures are listed like they are on this yogurt, because those are the cultures that we're gonna use to actually make yogurt. Also, one thing I noticed when I make my own yogurt is that depending on the yogurt I buy as the starter, the consistency that comes out turns out to be very similar to that type of yogurt. So if I use a thick Greek yogurt to actually start making the yogurt, then my end product will also be a little thicker. So the first step I do is I pour the milk into a stainless steel pot because we're gonna be heating it up. I usually use just a little filter just to make sure I get any impurities out of the milk. So we're gonna pour it all in here. The next step is we're gonna put this on the stove and heat up the milk to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Basically what that's gonna do is kill any residual bacteria that could be in the milk that could disrupt the fermentation process. So we're gonna heat this up right now. Now the pot's on the stove. I always like to put it on a medium to medium low heat. We don't wanna burn the milk, and you wanna keep stirring it so it doesn't burn. So it takes a little bit of time to get up to temperature, but what you wanna get while you're waiting is a thermometer so you can track the temperature of the milk. And as soon as it reaches the pre-boiling point, so we don't wanna boil the milk, just right before at around 200 degrees, we immediately wanna take it off the heat and we're gonna let it cool back down to 115 degrees. So while the milk's heating up, we can also prep our starter for the yogurt. So what you're gonna wanna do is get your yogurt. You're gonna get about a quarter to a half cup. I like to do a half cup just to make sure we have enough bacteria. And we're gonna put it in this bowl. All right, so my milk just hit under 200 degrees, so I'm gonna pull it right off the stove. Keep mixing it just so we don't get any burnt milk on the bottom. And now we're gonna wait until this cools down to that 110 to 115 degrees. There are a few ways you can make the pot cool down quicker. If you have time, you can just leave it on the stove and eventually it'll get to that temperature. It will take a while. You can also try to throw some water on the side of the pot, or if you have a Dutch oven, you could run it under cold water or in an ice bath. All right, it's been about 40 minutes. I let the pot cool on the stove top and we're at around 115 degrees. So what we're gonna do now is take our Greek yogurt that we had from earlier, and we're gonna take like a ladle's worth, so probably about a cup's worth of the warm milk and ladle it into the yogurt. So I'm gonna do that now. And then you just wanna mix up the store-bought yogurt and then our hot milk so that it creates a smooth consistency. You can use a whisk if you have one, but I'm just gonna use a spoon and mix it really well. So I've mixed the yogurt, there's no clumps. So now what we're gonna do is just pour this mixture in our warm milk, and then we're gonna do one last mix to make sure everything is combined. And that's really it. All you wanna do is put a cover on top, and then you wanna leave it in a warm place where it can ferment. I found it super useful to actually stick this in the oven. Make sure the oven's off, but turn the oven light on. That'll maintain a temperature of around 110 degrees, and that will be a really great environment to ferment this yogurt. And as a general rule of thumb, it should take around 4 hours for it to start thickening up. And if you like your yogurt thicker, if you like it tangier, you can leave it for longer. When I've made yogurt in the past, I typically leave it overnight for 8-9 hours or so, and it always comes out really good. So what I'm gonna do now is pop the cover on top here. I'll probably put a kitchen towel on top as well, just to make sure a lot of the heat kind of stays insulated. And then I'm gonna put this in my oven with the light on and let it sit for 4 to 8 hours. And I'll see you in the morning to see what the results look like. The next morning, and the yogurt has been fermenting in the oven with the light on for the past 8 to 10 hours. So it should be complete. So let's pull it out and see the end product. And there you are. You're left with a wonderful yogurt. I hope you found this video helpful if you're into cooking, food, fitness, nutrition. I make videos on all those topics, so feel free to subscribe if any of that is an interest for you. But until next time, good luck making your yogurt.